Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be discussing about vampire number and also how to write a Java program to check if a given number is a vampire number or not. The program that I'll be writing, it will be based on the ISC sample question provided by the council. So according to the question, a vampire number is a composite natural number with an even number of digits that can be factored into two natural numbers, each with half as many digits as the original number and not both with trailing zeros, where the two factors contain precisely all the digits of the original number in any order of counting multiplicity. So the definition is quite long, and that's why what I'll do now, first of all, I'll create a file in my home folder and I'll name it vampire.java. And I will write down the definition as comment. A vampire number is a composite natural number with an even number of digits that can be factored into two natural numbers, each with half as many digits as the original number and not both with trailing zeros. Where two factors contain precisely all the digits of the original number in any order of counting multiplicity. So this definition might be a little difficult to understand at first. So we'll try to understand it with an example. So 1260 is considered to be the first vampire number. So what we are doing here is we are dividing the number into two halves. So both the halves can contain any of the two digits from the given number. So this can be written as 21 into 60. Now you will see that both the factors contain half of the digits of the original number, and both the factors, when you combine both the factors, you get 2160, right? And 2160 has the same set of digits that the original number contained. And this is the reason why this number is considered to be a vampire number, and you can say 21 and 60 are its two fangs, the two fangs of the vampire. So our question is that we have to accept two positive integers, m and n, where m is less than n and the values of both m and n must be greater than or equal to 1000 and less than or equal to 9999, that is 9999. And we have to display all the vampire numbers that are in the range between m and n, both inclusive, and output them along with the frequency and in proper format. So let's start with the program, and while writing the program I'll also explain each and every line of the code. So let's begin. So first of all, we start with the import statement. So we are using the scanner class for user input. class vampire. Then we have the main function, and we keep the scanner object ready. And we input the values of m and n. Now we have to make sure that both the values m and n have valid values. So for that we need to apply one if condition. So if m is less than 1000, let's say, or n is less than 1000, or m is greater than 9999, or n is greater than 9999. Also, in case m is greater than n, so in any of these 5 conditions we can say that the values of m and n are invalid according to the question. So we need to print invalid input, and after that we call the return keyword so that we exit from main and the program terminates. We also take one counter variable and we set it to 0 because we also have to count the frequency of vampire numbers in the given range. And now we give a heading message using println. The vampire numbers are. And for this we run a loop. It should start with m and it should go up to n. And each time we are checking if the value I is a vampire number, and we will write a user-defined method for this. Let's assume that the user-defined method name is vampire, and we pass the value of I. And if the condition is true, then we increase the counter by 1. So we are assuming here that this particular function is going to give a Boolean value true or false, and accordingly the counter will increase. After increasing the counter, you want to check that if count is 1, that means we have got the first vampire number. So in that case we will just print I, and if it is not the first vampire number, that means if we go to the else part, then that means already some vampire numbers have been printed, and that's why now we print a comma at first and then the number, like this. And then we also print the frequency of the vampire numbers. So because I was using so I have to use print here, not println, because I want to print horizontally all the values. And then when I want to print the frequency, first of all, I want to change the line. That's why I use \n, the new line character, and then I give the message frequency of vampire number is count. So the main function is complete, and now we have to create this user defined isVampire method. So let's begin. Public static boolean isVampire, and we take the number. And what we will do here is we will convert this number into a string. So this number is in integer form right now, but using the string.value of function, we will convert this number into a string. So string, and let's name it number string. Number string equals string.value of, and we provide the number. So we have converted the number into a string. And once we have converted into a string, we can find its length. So int num length equals number string dot length. Now if num length modulus 2 is not equal to 0, that means it doesn't contain even number of digits. In that case, it is decided easily that it's not a vampire number. It cannot be a vampire number. So we simply write return false. Otherwise, we run a loop. I equals int of math.pow 10 comma whatever the number length divided by 2 minus 1. And I less than math.pow 10 comma num length divided by 2, again semicolon and I++. So let's look at this expression. So assuming that it's a 4-digit number, so num length will be 4 in that case. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1, so 10 to the power 1. Basically it's 10 to the power 1, so it's 10. So I is starting with 10. And here again it's num length divided by 2, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, so 10 to the power 2 is 100, so less than 100 means I goes up to 99. So basically we are starting the loop from 10 and going up to 99, because we know that any factor that we are going to get, it's going to be a 2-digit number, and it's going to be in this range only from 10 to 99. So we have to check for all of these possibilities, and that's why we are running the loop like this. So in this loop, we are taking this as factor 1. This is my factor 1, and I initialize it using I. So we are assuming that this I is the factor, the first factor, and we require 2 such factors, 2 fangs, so 2 factors. So for that, I can now write factor 2 equals the original number that I had divided by factor 1. Now, this factor 2 might be the factor or it might not be the factor. So that we will check later. So that is why we will write if condition now. If factor 1 into factor 2 is equal to the original number, that means both are the factors. So we have got two factors, and now we have to check whether these factors contain the same set of digits as the original number. So next, inside this if condition, what we do, we take a string variable factors string, and we write string dot value of factor 1 plus string dot value of factor 2. So we are combining the digits of both the factors, converting it into a string and creating one single string. Next, we are going to take two arrays, char original characters, okay, and this will be, you can say, new char. The length will be the number string dot length, and one more, factors characters equals new char, and here the length will be the factor string dot length. So factors string dot length. Now here we have to apply the brackets because in string we have length as a function, not as a data member. And using loops, we will fill up this array with each and every digits of the corresponding string. So we can write for j equals 0, j less than number string dot length j plus plus, and original characters ith index equals number string dot caret I. And I can run a similar loop for the second array as well. So I'll copy and I'll paste and I'll write over here factors string dot length, and it will be factors characters I is equal to factor string dot caret I. So it will be j. So we have made a mistake here. It will be j because the counter variable is j over here. So here also it will be j. Now what we need to do, we need to arrange these arrays in ascending order of the digits. So for that we need to sort both the arrays that we have created, the original characters array and the factors characters array, so that we'll be able to compare them. So after this if condition, we will create a sort function which will arrange these two arrays in ascending order of the digits. So we will pass original characters array to this function, and then we will pass factors characters array to this function, and we will have to create this sort function also later. So assuming that this function exists, so these two arrays will be sorted, and after that we will create another function that will compare these two arrays if both the arrays are identical or not as far as the content is concerned. So if, let's say, the function name is equals, and I'm passing the first array and the second array. So if it's true, so we return true. Otherwise, we come out of the loop finally and we return false. So our vampire function is complete. This is our vampire function, and we have to write the sort function now. So I'm taking the array name as ARR, and using bubble sort, we will sort the array. So you can see over here that using bubble sort technique, we have sorted the array, and we also have to create the equals function that will compare both the arrays. So public static boolean equals char a1, two arrays are being passed, char a2. So in case a1 dot length is not the same as a2 dot length, then no point comparing, directly we can say return false. Otherwise, we run the loop and we compare each and every character. So if a1 I is not equal to a2 I in any of the blocks, then we can say they are not the same, so return false. Otherwise, we just come out of the loop and we return true. So with this, we have completed the whole program, and let's check the output now. So let's give m as 1002, n as 1640, and you can see that it's printing 1260, 1395, 1435, and 1530. So there are 4 vampire numbers and the frequency is being displayed. So that's all for today. I hope you have understood how to write a Java program to check whether a given number is a vampire number or not. That's all for now. See you soon in the next class, and thanks for watching.